today because the sun is shining in. Morning, everyone. I think we just went live without anyone knowing we went live, so that was awesome.
I told you I was pushing the button.
I hope everyone's had a good week. The sun is shining here in Helensville, as always. Paradise. How you guys going?
Good.
Yep, good.
Yeah, Branton made it on time today. Maybe that's his superpower. He's usually late.
That just reminded me of a job I've got to do.
Yeah. Cool. That's a good story. I like it.
It's for superhero.
Ah,
cool.
What is that?
Yeah, see, Brendan,
What
I told
is
you,
this?
I've passed the message on. I've done my part. Now it's on the next part of the production line's problem.
Yeah, he has passed it on. I've just been slack.
Oh, does he want a mug?
Yeah, one of these.
Yeah. I need to start using mine, but I don't drink coffee, so it's difficult.
You don't drink coffee?
I don't drink bourbon either.
God, this explains so much. How have we gotten to this point?
Especially in the morning. But anyway.
Anymore.
Hey, we went to Waiheke in the weekend, and Kim and I tried to start drinking at lunchtime, and by 4:30 we were like, should we go back and have a little nap? Had a little nap and then watch TV. So yeah, it was a great day. We had fun while we were out there. But well, to be fair, one of the wineries had a Oktoberfest event, and we were sitting there drinking, and the band was setting up, and we're like, yeah, this will be me. And they said, oh, just letting you know, you have to leave if you haven't paid for the function. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that kind of was like, nah. Anyway, what have you guys been up to? I hear that our fish are sorted for the breeding challenge, so that'll be good.
Yes, so fish are all sorted for the breeding challenge.
I wanted to get the platinum rummy nose, but the platinum rummy nose was sold out, so we only get the normal rummy nose.
Yes, Nigel has managed to source us some, and Cam, yours will be getting sent to you early next week, I believe.
So he gets them early.
Well,
how can this challenge be fair if he gets them earlier than everyone else?
Well, the villain in me says, well, I can get them sent early, and then I'm still going to use the ones that I've already had for the last month, which are already a bit older and bigger and already more prepared. So what are we going to do with that?
We've already got a cheater.
Look, I didn't say I'm going to. I'm saying I now have the opportunity to do so. So it doesn't matter how early I get them. I can still begin a little bit earlier if I choose to be the villain in this scenario.
And do you have a pre-recorded loop as a word from our sponsors about that, Matt?
Not pre-recorded, but the Three Idiots podcast breeding challenge brought to you by Top Fin Aquariums, based in Foxton.
I think it was Top Fin Aquatics.
Hey, and that is the Foxtown.
That is the Foxtown. So yes, Nigel has hooked us up with these fish, and yeah, so we will start the challenge. The challenges are going to run basically whenever you guys get your fish. He gets them earlier, but he also has the risk that they're being shipped. So, pros and cons. And then I'm bringing yours up next Friday when I come to Auckland.
Oh, what? So I've got to have my fish shipped. Why don't I get hand delivery?
Because I don't want to fucking go to Nelson.
Fair enough.
Also, as a side note, I spent a bit of time in Foxton, and fuck, it's a shithole. So his shop may be the only good thing about Foxton, I'd say, probably because fuck, man. And Foxton
his shop is really cool. His shop is really cool. It's quite a awesome little setup that he's got. So if anyone is in the Lower North Island and wants to check something out, it is a good spot to go to. And then just get the fuck out of Foxton as quick as you can.
Don't touch anything. Don't interact with the locals. Definitely don't go to public toilets.
Isn't Jeff in
They
Foxton?
try and make it look nice.
Nah, he's in like Woodville or something.
Oh, that's right, Woodville. Yeah.
Same sort of area. And they still got that sign on the top of the hill that's like Hollywood like at the end of the street. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
Really awesome.
Oh, I think the sign got nicked, and now they make the sign out of flowers every year.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, did you see there was another pet shop opening up in Foxton?
What?
Huh?
Yeah. On the New Zealand Tropical Fishkeepers page, what it was, they were advertising their website and their pet shopperism yesterday.
Is this Paws and Claws?
No. Paws and Claws. Might have been. Sounds familiar.
Fishkeepers NZ?
Yeah, I think it might have been Paws and Claws. Now you've mentioned it.
I didn't know that it was Foxton. I thought it was Palmy.
I thought it said Foxton. I mean, according to Ryan, once you get past the Bombay Hills, it's all the same anyway and doesn't exist. Yeah. So it's all the same place, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So, yeah, Nigel seems like a good bugger. I've sent him some fish. It's all good. Yeah.
I've sent him fish. Cam, have you sent him any fish?
I believe so. Not fish. I think I've sent him other stuff.
Other supplies.
Let me have a look.
I got my zebra pleco too. See if everyone. It's really, really good for an audio podcast. But if you are doing a visual podcast, a visual, whatever you call it, not a podcast, but a visual thing, a YouTubey thing. There's a zebra pleco in my tank over here, just chilling with the Africans. So there you go. He survived shipping. He's just cruising up the glass. He's all good.
I have indeed sent Nigel stuff.
There you go.
So cool. What do you know?
I
have sent him fish.
My ADHD is very much pinpointed on this pet shop that's opening. So there's yesterday website looking good. Check it out.
That's the one.
Yeah, it doesn't say Foxton. Doesn't say Foxton.
Have you just decided it was Foxton? Just made it up with all the shitholes in New Zealand? What's the little shithole we could make?
I'm 99% sure on the website it's Foxton.
Heart of the Manawatu. Heart of the Manawatu.
Yeah, same thing. Foxton.
I wouldn't say it's the heart of the Manawatu. But anyway. Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
What?
Is Manawatu Foxton though?
It isn't a Manawatu, yes.
Well, there you go. I'm right. You're right.
No, it's in the Horowhenua.
Is it? Where does it change over?
I don't know. I'm making shit up now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what have you guys had going on in your fishy rooms this week? I like it, man. It was good. It was good.
In my fishy... No, we shall not. In my fishy room, look, not a lot of fishy things are going on in my fishy room. But excitingly, all of my fishy rooms, because they're multiple at the moment, is going to become one fishy room. So I am collating everything back from about 4 different people. And it's going to be really interesting to see what I actually have, because I've got no clue what I've fucking got. I've got no idea exactly how many tanks. I've got no idea exactly what stock I've got. I could figure it out, but that requires me to use my brain. But yeah. That's basically what I'm gearing up for, planning, making room for the space.
So have you haven't purchased a home yet, you've just found somewhere to put it all?
Yeah.
Okay. And is this with one of your pole dancing love affairs?
No.
It's not with a love affair? Is it with a love affair though? Is it with a love affair in general?
We don't talk about my personal life on here.
Okay. So you've decided to make the fish tanks matrimonial property. Is that what you're saying?
You're getting married. Congratulations, just like Ryan.
I've decided to put all the fish in one place.
Okay. Well,
in some sort of a room or house, almost like a fish room of some sort.
Well, in a garage, actually.
So is it an insulated garage?
They called it a garage. I thought they were called a car hole.
It's not currently, but it will be. So that's partly what I'm planning at the moment is bits and pieces. Fortunately, have access to Fletcher Building to help me with that. Shout out.
So is it just like an old standalone garage?
Yeah, it's a double garage, and what I will end up doing is putting a wall down the middle. It's already got a ceiling or a loft, so insulate, and then it's concrete brick around the other sides.
So you're just going to put some insulation on top of that, are you?
Yeah. And then sort out the plumbing. There's water going out there, so it's just
a guy
leaving. Yeah, I might be able to figure it out.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Like an automatic water change system or something? Kim's bloody. I hid her glasses underneath all my piles of fish food on the table, and she's shining, using the light to reflect her glasses into my eyes. So that was fun.
Which makes a difference from the reflection shining off your forehead into our eyes.
Yeah, blinded by the light.
So this room, you're saying water, weren't you? Plumbing.
Yeah. Automatic water change system.
The
what
plan
do
for
you
this one is all of the. So words won't be automatic, but each tank's going to have its own ball valve, so I can just walk along, turn the ball valve, drain all the tanks, all in one go.
Are those the things that go into their mouth?
Yeah. And then I'll be hosing back in for this one, only because it's not the long-term solution. But because there's water out there, I'll just be hooking in like a shower mixer with a hose connection.
Yeah.
And I'll run that.
Inline, some sort of inline.
Yeah, I'm going to run it.
Filter or something. Oh, he vanished.
Matt disappeared. Makes a change. It's normally me.
What's that one?
Cool.
Well, I just had a package show up. I don't know what it is.
Wasn't for me.
What is it? Ooh.
High quality audio podcasting entertainment here.
That's my sister.
Well done, listener.
That's from my sister. It's from my sister.
My back.
Let's see.
Ryan has just left his screen.
There you go. Unboxing. Anyway, carry on. So you're gonna do a water change system, and how are you going to heat said tanks? So you're just gonna do the poor way of heating all the tanks and having power points everywhere and having all the drama, or you're gonna heat the room?
Heat the room and the tanks.
What's that? Heat the room
and then yeah. So just a little bit of like a backup system. I've already got the heaters there and the power points already there, so may as well have them just to.
I don't think he cares. He's got a new toy.
No.
What has he got?
I'm listening. So, but why would you do both? Because the heaters and tanks are dumb. They suck.
Yes. So my theory is that efficiency will be better if I heat the room to say 24 degrees and then let the heaters do the last little bit.
Stupid idea. I just got more plants for my tanks. So I bought plants. So here you go. You guys are happy?
You bought plants?
I've got plants for my sister.
What plants did you buy?
I didn't buy plants, but I got given plants. All sorts of cool pothosy type things to grow in the tanks.
Pothos, did you say?
Yeah, and also a whole bunch of barbecue rubs.
Nice. That's a weird combination to get together.
Also, if you want weird, a whole roll of knitted dishcloths.
Yeah, it's a really weird combination to get together.
Because Kim has started knitting dishcloths after she met my sisters the other weekend. So
you're getting married and she only just met your sisters.
No, she's met my sisters heaps, but now she's decided that she wants to knit stuff. So
are your sisters also bald, or is that just a receding trait for you?
it's only a male trait. But anyway,
all right,
that's cool. So I'm going to put them in my fish tanks later and grow some plants. There you go. Cool. Yeah, I still think heaters and tanks suck in fish rooms. It's dumb. But anyway, that's cool. What about you, Cam? How's the emptying going in the?
Slowly but surely. Sold a couple more tanks this week. Sold my big project clown lodge tank, so that's going on Saturday.
This was the one that you had a really tight deadline on, and you didn't make, and you had to do a dance, a song, sing a song.
Yeah, that's the one.
What song did you sing?
Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah. And it's still not finished.
It's still not finished.
And you've passed the disaster on to someone else to
not disaster. Well, it just has to be stuck together.
Sounds like a disaster.
It's not a disaster. You're a disaster. Your hairline's a disaster. Fuck you.
Hey, for a receding hairline, it's a perfect example, actually. Textbook example.
Yeah, so that's all moving out. I got some bits for the Little Kiss, which is the Frontosa tank. Found out that one of the plumbing bits was missing a fairly important part, which is why it was pissing water everywhere. That should hopefully be rectified in the next few days, and it might be moving very soon.
You haven't moved house.
Is this a different plumbing part to the plumbing parts that were supplied?
Yeah. So the stuff you got is for the intake end, so the pipes and stuff like that. And then the other one that is pouring out water is what I now know is a check valve, which I wasn't aware of at the time, but it's missing a washy bit. So the supplier of those bits is sending some for me. So away we go.
So did Matt send you some washers this week?
Yeah.
And how are they packaged?
Yeah, he did. How are they packaged? In a cardboard box and plastic bags.
And how many layers of packaging do they have on them? Are they well protected? Did you say they'll get damaged in transit or not really?
There's still a chance and a possibility to be damaged in transit. It probably could have been better. There was a rather large box. It was bigger than my head.
Which is
it was
massive.
Then a little bit of paper just to make sure nothing moved around. Said rubber washers were wrapped in paper, which was sellotaped. Once I got through the paper, it was wrapped in Glad wrap, I guess you'd call it, plastic wrap, and then it was put in a little plastic baggie. And no, Branton, Ryan did not watch YouTube. He doesn't support me and my efforts. He calls me a friend, but he doesn't support his friendships.
I did start watching it, but I knew what was in there because Matt had already showed me, so I didn't bother watching it till the end.
That's not how you support people. That's not how you support your mates. I watch all of your bullshit African cichlid videos, even though they all look the same. I still watch them, and I make sure I comment on them every single time.
27 a day and clickbait everyone.
Well, I don't post 27 a day and clickbait everyone either.
Well, there you go.
But if I clickbait people, I make sure it's very obvious that I'm clickbaiting people on purpose by saying this is clickbait.
We're like the 5 most important things you need to do, but you get 2 and you forget about the rest of them. Yeah, you forget how to count to 5. Right?
How good was that? To be fair, when I was thinking about it, I had like 4. I was like, oh yeah, I can make up 5, and they just started talking. Oh wait a minute, it's only really 2, so we'll just go with 2.
But you're right, and I don't know if I'd agree with you, but you're right in those 2 things. So yeah, I deal with it all the time too.
Helpful.
Someone emails me, my fish are dying. Can you help me?
And
what fish have you got? Oh, African cichlids. Cool. How big is your tank? Oh, it's big. Yeah. Okay.
Are we starting our rant now?
Anyway, I've had a shitter in my fish room this week. My water change system failed and killed half my fry, so I'm pissed off. So that was dumb. the system I thought was foolproof because it has two solenoids that need to trigger on both tanks. Had two solenoids fail, the control one and the other one. So yeah.
Was that Trophius Fry by any chance?
There was some Trophius Fry that perished, yes, but the older ones survived.
Oh, no.
Why do you have to be mean, Cam? Why do you have to be mean?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was the Trophius Fry that I'm finally having success with, and all the Aurora Fry, which was annoying because they were getting to 6 centimeters. There was all sorts of stuff that got killed that I was real pissed off about. And so last night I spent hours fucking trying to rejig the whole bloody thing because all the solenoids are different now, different layout and stuff. So I had to build this bloody plenum and stuff, and make everything fit together and shit. It was dumb, and then got it all going, and then it blew a fuse, so I had to drive an hour to get another fuse, and then it blew another fuse. Luckily I got 3 fuses, so I put another fuse in, and then one of the solenoids wouldn't work, and so it's been pretty dumb. I was due to go up north today, so I basically just cancelled my trip up north because I'm like, nah, I'm not going away with my automatic water change system not running. It's too risky for the fish.
Do you think if you weren't so hoary and were better at siliconing stuff together, your skills for your automatic water change system would also be better? Do you think you could maybe take your system to the next level?
I've put silicone on it, you reckon? Just smear silicone on it.
Could be.
Well, I thought it was pretty robust. I've got a really nice controller there. I've got, the solenoid, it's got to trigger a master solenoid and an individual solenoid for each tank, so it shouldn't stick on. But obviously it was not. So looking at introducing another whole water change system another solenoid system before this solenoid system as a double backup of a different brand or different type or something. So it's just annoying.
How's the plan going with?
Job I was supposed to do.
How's the plan going with you increasing your fish room to make it double decker?
Yeah, well,
yep.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't spoken about that, have we?
No,
no. So we are doing some pretty major renovations to our house in Helensville, which involves removing the tent out the back and putting like some timber and stuff in for people to sleep under instead of under like a tarpaulin, long story short, it's been an absolute nightmare. The council have been dicks. It was estimated at 18 grand to get it consented. We're at 40 grand so far, and we're still not consented. And we've got to do some drainage. So as part of the drainage, they were like, oh, yeah, you've got to move the container in the back of the property to put a drain in. I'm like, the container don't move. They're like, if you don't move it, it's going to cost an extra 30 grand. I'm like, oh, okay. So long story short, the container is my fish room. So there's 67 tanks full of fish in there.
I thought it was 69.
I've got 2 inside, so that's a total of 69.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it went from the container can't move to maybe it can be moved, and I got a HIAB operator out, and he said, we can move that, mate, without destroying any of your tanks. So it looks like the container is going to be moved, a hot load full of fish and tanks. So it's going to be awesome. I'm going to love it.
And Matt made the incredible suggestion as while you're moving it, you might as well expand it and put another one on top. Maybe dig it into the ground and have a little weird bunker.
We could dig underneath.
Dungeon.
Yeah. And I could do my hydroponics set up under there that no one would know about.
And you've got the vibe of a prepper. You could probably start getting a little bunker going as well, a bit of a prepper bunker at the same time.
Awesome. Yeah, we could put all our food in there to expire and never eat. Yeah.
So definitely a tinfoil hattist. So that would really work with you if you had a couple of storage containers underground.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I know you asked your better half, or you forwarded to your better half the suggestion I had. What was her response?
She didn't even listen to it. She refused to listen to it. She refused to even engage in the conversation because she knew that anything she said it wasn't 100% negative. Like it would have been taken as a yes.
You should have then refused to engage in the engagement with her.
Did you point out that
I've tried?
Did you also point out that within said message, I had her best interests at heart as well as yours?
No, she doesn't trust you.
She doesn't trust you.
I
Doesn't
wouldn't
trust her
do.
Fishkeepers.
I don't trust myself.
Yeah, so that kind of sucked losing all those fish, and I was like, we'd been to Waikiki for the weekend, so I was pretty dusty on the Sunday, and then I went out there, and it was just like, fucking hell. So I just turned the valve off for the water change system, and went back inside and thought, deal with that tomorrow.
It always happens when you're dusty, eh? Major things. Oh no, what do I have to deal with this now?
Yeah, so I just didn't deal with it now. And then the next day it was even worse. And I was siphoning out the dead bodies and got a mouthful of dead body fish water.
Delicious.
It was not fun. Not fun. So, yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah. Do we have any listener mail?
It's a good question. I'll look, eh? I don't think so. And then
I
if we
had a
don't,
really-
the question is, do we begin to drop the segment? Or is it just funny because we never get mail?
I guess it's kind of funny because we don't get mail.
Okay. We've got lots of stuff from YouTube. We've had a new comment on a video. Thank you. We've had another comment on a video. Someone said we've got a gusher. Thank you. Yep, we've got another comment. Thank you. Someone gave me shit for calling Ice Cube Kevin Hart. It's Ice Cube, not Kevin Hart. And YouTube tells us we're now live. So no, we've got nothing relevant. Just notifications from YouTube.
So I have a random question here, and the subcategory is employee performance review questions.
Ooh.
And the question is, how do I compare to other employees in terms of job performance? No, good.
What was the question, sorry?
I'll do another one. What can I do to exceed your expectations? There you go.
Grow some hair.
Anything different to what you're doing now?
Keep real fish.
It is not real. What? This one's not real. But
No. Your bar is so incredibly low, it would not take much to be well and truly above expectations. Work on your attendance.
Yeah. Fucking hell. All right.
Was it a
cool.
question
Well,
for all of us, or
yeah. Well,
we
so
just making
now,
fun of each other?
no, so that's just make fun of me. That's just what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
I did have a really good random question, but I didn't write it down and I've forgotten what it was. So I thought it up during the week, but it'll come back to me at some stage or it won't. It's a good thing about old age. You just sometimes forget. It's all good. What are you two? You two are both off typing and leaving me.
Sorry, I'm just. And my work guys are asking me something.
Tell them to fuck off.
Okay.
What is the topic today, lads? Well, that's always the question, Vishal. We don't really know. That's the problem. The problem is what grinds our gears in the aquarium hobby episode 81.
So, Ryan, what grinds your gears?
Nothing. I'm just a really happy person. I don't ever get upset about anything. I'm not like a grumpy
Bullshit.
old man.
Bullshit.
Sometimes the neighbours' kids kick balls and they go on my front yard. And it makes me really fucking angry when those balls come on my front yard. I'm like, fucking kids get a fucking ball.
I'm so glad you added front yard, because if you'd be so fucking angry and those balls come, I could have sliced and diced and used that as many ways as possible.
Yeah. Now, I was going to segue into something else that happened this week, but I don't know if I should, so I think I'll leave that one.
Do it, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, I just think that
I don't. I want to hear it.
It's the potential to go badly because we don't want to identify.
Do you know
anyone.
what happened, Cam?
No, I have no idea.
No.
I want to know.
The message to Cam started with, "My tism has got me in trouble." The message to Matt, was my tism has got me in trouble, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so excited about this. Let me know. So Ryan doesn't get when balls come into his backyard. Yeah, well,
Yeah, we're just going to bring up a couple of these comments because I think they're pretty hilarious. Superhero has said, so Ryan doesn't get mad when balls come on his backyard. And Stephen has said, definitely don't want kids' balls coming anywhere near you. I think
we're going to get cancelled. We're going to get cancelled.
It's amusing.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, less about kids' balls, more about fish. Let's go. Speaking of kids' balls, have you guys watched the Mendes show on Netflix? That shit's fucked up.
The what?
The Mendes brothers. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, you should watch that. It's fucked up. Anyway, so I was like, oh yeah. So look, I've got to make sure I don't identify this person or the store because it will be bad. But so someone contacted me for fish, and they wanted to buy some fish off me, and then they mentioned that they had a store and all this sort of stuff. And then I kind of knew which area they were from, so I said, "Is your store this store?" And they said, "Yes." I hope that's not a bad thing. And that's where autism kicked in. And I was like, I'm not going to lie. The last time I went into said store, the tanks were full of dead fish, and the staff were sitting behind the counter playing on their phones and gossiping and didn't even look up and say hello to me. I did go in with the intention of meeting you because we have a mutual friend that said, "Hey, you should go in and meet so-and-so." And then the conversation went downhill from there. He's basically like, "I'm really fucked off. I'm proud of my store, and yeah, you've made up your mind and all this sort of stuff." And then I said, "Oh, I know so-and-so, and he speaks very highly of you. So maybe it was just a bad day. My fish room isn't always nice. At that time, my fish room was actually full of dead fish. So so I can't, because my fish room had crashed. So and then he proceeded to just basically go off at me a little bit, and then he fired a shot at me. So he said, "Oh, I've heard lots about you too, and it turns out it's all true," and then just blocked me. I was like, "Oh, come on, at least what I know about you and your store, I've actually observed for myself, and I've told you about in 100% honesty." So yeah. And then he proceeded to message my friend, who I'm actually good friends with, who's friends with him as well, and say, "Your mate Ryan is a cunt, and rah, rah. He did this and he did that."
Well, he's not untrue there.
What would he rather that I did? Would he rather that I just lied to him and said, "Oh, mate, your store's amazing"? I haven't lied. I haven't done anything.
I think he would have rathered that you sold him fish.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everything that I've said is true, and it's just feedback on his store. So
the funniest part for this. So yesterday, Ryan was telling me more about this story, and it made my day yesterday. The funniest part of this now is watching Ryan try not to trip himself up and accidentally identify where all of this has come from.
This has all been left with my mate, who said, "Look, so-and-so is having a really hard time at the moment, and he's probably just overreacted. I'll have a talk to him. I do think you guys will get along, and I'd like you're both my mates. I'd like you guys to both hang out and have a beer sometime next time you're around." So, I don't want to identify said store or anything or shit on anyone in public. And even though that happened a year ago, I haven't actually publicly said it to anyone.
Was it a year ago?
Yeah.
So he sat on this information for a year and then just crushed a little person's hopes and dreams.
Well, that person said to me, "Why don't you say anything?" And I felt like saying to him, "Well, I've just told you now, and look at how you're reacting. So how would you have reacted then?" You know what I mean? Ironically, I have had a lot of people come through to me from that area and buy fish off me, and they've all said the same thing.
Was it Aramex? So this is the first time that I've heard the story like just right now. And as soon as you started talking, I knew exactly what shop you were talking about. So if anyone's in New Zealand, it might not be too hard to put those pieces together.
No,
there's only 5 shops, so
It's
3 owned by the same company.
It's really interesting for me from a business perspective that, again, I don't know his financials, but I do know this is a very small store in a very small place that's probably not making very much money, and it definitely has employees and stuff. And if you go in there and there's dead fish and the employees aren't helping people, that's probably some really good feedback you probably need if you wanted to start making some money in a fish store, So, but instead of taking it as feedback, obviously the way I addressed it probably wasn't the best way to address it. Again, but yeah, it was an interesting discussion, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So he can carry on with his employees sitting behind the counter on their phones and dead fish
paid by the hour.
Yeah, get the dead fish in the tanks and not sell anything, and get angry if people tell them. So all good. But anyway, that's my story, and the shop will not be identified.
Okay.
And what really grinds your gears? Does it grind your gears when you tell someone the truth and they get angry at you?
Does it grind my gears?
I have a list. I have a list of things that grind my gears.
Just writing Ryan 100 times doesn't fucking count.
No, that's on the list.
Right.
That's on the list over this side to make sure I actually do what I was supposed to do for you yesterday. Lots of shit grinds my gears. The one that's grinded, English.
Grinding. Yep. Grindered.
Yeah. My gears the most recently, and I think you and I actually touched on it in a conversation recently as well, is people not understanding our intentions as breeders or fish stores when you ask questions about their tanks and stuff. And they think that we're just being nosy and trying to be a dick about things. So have people message and you ask, what size tank do you have? What's your current stocking? To make sure that what they're asking you for is going to actually be okay and you're not going to end up with a murder situation. And then when you ask those questions, they just get grumpy with you. So I think it gets taken the wrong way a little bit, that we're being nosy or we're trying to be difficult, but actually it's because we give a shit about the fish.
It can come across as arrogance, right? And like my fish
especially when you do
it. My fish are a hobby, and if people contact me for help, I'll give it to them, but I'm not going to spend 3 days, sugarcoating it. Like I'll just say, hey, what fish have you got? What size is your tank? So look, I probably wouldn't recommend that stocking in that size tank. I'll probably rehome this, and this, and do this, and this. Like, and they will go and ignore me, and then soon enough you see photos on Facebook of all the dead fish and African cichlids are assholes and because people wouldn't listen to advice anyway. Well, especially if you don't listen to advice when you're given it and you got them in a small tank and you got the wrong fish together, you're always going to end up with the same outcome. So yeah, it's interesting. Just hate it when people put EM badges on their BMWs. Just saying.
Do you think it's a systemic thing within the industry itself? Because like the amount of people that you hear going on, Animates asked me all these questions and wouldn't sell me fish, blah 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 blah.
I think it's
pretty much exactly the same thing as what you're saying, but on a slightly bigger level. Do you think it's a systemic thing that people just go, I want to buy fish, piss off, leave me alone, because the education from many, many years ago put a goldfish in a bowl and it's still happening?
The problem can
you break it down to that point?
The problem with accessibility to information is you can basically Google and get validation for anything you want an answer to, right? So
yes,
people want to do something. They want to do something that's dumb. They Google around until they find the depths of some Facebook group or some forum that someone says it's okay, and then they just completely disregard all other information because they've got one random person on the internet that probably doesn't know what they're doing recommending it, who may have randomly had it work for a short period of time and then never posted an update. So yeah, I agree. It's probably a problem, and I've heard the same thing. I had someone come out who wasn't a fish keeper but saw my tanks and said, "Oh, I have fish. Man, it was a pain. I went into the shop and they made me bring in this water and stuff, and they told me not to add fish, so I just went to Animates and bought some." And I was like, "Yeah, well, they probably should have been testing your water, and if they told you not to add fish, your tank was probably stuffed, and that's probably why your fish died." Oh, we just wanted to get some fish. I thought, yeah, okay. Well,
and that's probably because fish are just seen as just a random commodity and not living animals like a cat or a dog, etc., etc.
See, our superhero's got something there that really interests me.
That one?
Yeah. I think what grinds my gears most is places like Facebook groups where a lot of people are just parroting random information they know nothing about. Yeah, that's interesting. And then he's gone on to say, or Stefan's gone on to say that he's abandoned all the Facebook groups except for the co-op group. So it's interesting. I've found that too. All the people that I know that actually have a lot of experience in fish, a lot of them, and actually know roughly what they're doing, don't post on Facebook because they're sick of arguing with people who don't know what they're doing. So that means that the information that's going out there ends up being swayed towards people that are well-meaning, but probably don't have the experience to know what they're doing.
But could that also be that people that don't use or don't post on Facebook groups are at a different point in their level in their hobby? I'm sure you can remember when your Facebook wasn't, the computers weren't even around when you started getting into the hobby, but if they were, you would have been jumping with gay abandonment onto the computer to look at what I've got, all the trying to absorb as much information as you can.
I remember the dial-up internet coming out after I had fish tanks. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you get to a point where like you kind of have all the information you need until you need to get a little more specialist, so you don't sort of need Facebook groups as much or forums as much, other than for maybe human interaction vibes of it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Also, I think
it's people, you get sick of arguing. So what's the point?
Yeah. But then it becomes like an arrogance thing, right? Because you got to be careful. It's not arrogance. But then if you've got like, I've been keeping fish a long time, so I know a little bit about fish. I've kept a lot of fish, so I know a little bit about fish. It doesn't mean I know.
And you are arrogant.
Well, it's hard not to come across as arrogance, but we.
Just because you are.
Fuck you. But anyway,
do you also think because you are part of New Zealand's leading premier podcast on aquatics, or should I say aquatics, that you are considered an expert and you don't want to make the people look down on you if you override them and talk too much shit?
Well,
the
problem is that because I am so famous, it is hard not to ruin, like people just naturally get attracted to me, I say to Kim, these girls just line up around the block, and it's so hard to be me,
Girls lining up around the block, and it's so hard. Ryan, you set that up way too easy, buddy. Way too easy.
I see a shortcoming right there. Anyway. No, it's interesting. And people, I don't think the people on Facebook that are giving the wrong information have bad intentions. They're trying to help, but they probably don't actually have the experience to help. Same with treating diseases and stuff. God, you see some terrible stuff out there, and often the terrible stuff outweighs the actual sensible information.
But that comes down to, this is a hobby. There's very few, at least in New Zealand, there's literally no zoologists to my knowledge. There probably is, there are some. But like the actual educated people aren't pissing around in the hobby pages because either they're not here in New Zealand.
If they are there, they're making good money doing it properly.
Yeah, that's my point. And there is plenty of knowledgeable people, well-educated people on these topics around the world. But whether or not their education information gets out easily enough for people to continue to share it, or websites like Pseudoscience get shared all the time from bald people like you, it's a different argument. You're part of the problem.
I'm part of the solution.
You are the problem.
It reminds me, I've got to find a really funny video and send it to you guys later. It was hilarious. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I had an argument with someone the other day on an American site, which I probably should never have had, but he was feeding his fish once a week, every month. For a week every month, he was dosing his fish with metronidazole.
Good.
Because it works
I
for
take
him.
paracetamol to stop headaches as well.
Metronidazole. But, it's just like, you're giving your fish an antibiotic that fucks their kidneys every month for no purpose, and you wonder why we can no longer buy these medications over the counter. And his answer was, it works for me. I've had my fish for 2 years and they're fine.
That's perfect, actually, because that leads into the second point on my list. Is people doing, I wrote shit, people doing shit with their aquariums, like keeping non-compatible fish together and encouraging others to do it because they haven't had an issue.
Yeah.
It works for me, so it works for everyone else.
It works for me.
Better than fentanyl.
Let's be honest, if we had fentanyl, it ain't going in the fish tank,
Secretly breeding super bacteria, letting them in work.
Yeah, it's just like, and even when, I explained to him why it was a bad idea, he's like, nah, it's a good idea. And he keeps recommending it to people. It's like, okay, whatever. So, again, it's just, that information out there makes it very tricky. And like Matt says, you'll get so many people, they put a whole heap of baby fish together. Oh, this is fine. Post on Facebook. It's fine. Look, I've done it. And then you look at the tank and they've been together for like 2 months and they're tiny fish. And you're like, this fish is going to get big. It's going to smash everything. The tank's too small. It's just going to turn to shit. And then they vanish. Or they post a year later. What's wrong with my fish? Why is it floating upside down with no fins on it? So, yeah, it's hard. It's a hard one. Information's tricky.
Yeah, I reckon, because, stability works for me, but...
Hey, it's a no word. And you tested it. It doesn't work. You know it doesn't work.
I'm still adamant that it works in the conditions that they tested in.
Cycle the tank in a week.
But that's not the real world situation.
Cycle the tank in a week, but it has a disclaimer on their website saying it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. We could get into the overabundance of the use of random chemicals that don't work. That fucking grinds my gears.
Go on then. Fire away.
Oh, I see so many people that have. I saw one the other day, and he would have had probably 20 sea scum bottles across the top of his tank, and he was trying to flex about how many bloody sea chem products he chucked into his tank every week. And he had like the pristine, the clarity, the whatever else, just everything you can imagine. And I was just like, wow, it's a horrendous waste of money.
But it works for him.
It works for him, yeah. His fish don't die, so it works for him, but he's probably hemorrhaging so much money into the tank that's not needed.
Haven't you just joined the world of using UV filters, and you said that they worked really well and you found it efficient?
We don't really talk about my UV filters because I have 4 of them sitting underneath my tanks that I haven't looked up.
Oh, right. So you were willing to get into the world of this doesn't work at snake oil, and you got as far as buying the cheapest ones you could find and haven't used them, set them up. And you give me shit for having a monstrosity of a project that never got finished.
You didn't finish it.
Well, you haven't finished yours either.
Instead of finishing, you've given up.
Also, UV is actual science and something physical that makes sense. So it's a little bit different.
Compared to what?
I can't say the no word.
All science makes sense until someone debunks it.
All science makes sense. It makes no sense. But anyway, it's like people
it makes plenty of sense for Seachem and the people selling it.
Oh fuck yeah! I bet it makes lots of financial sense for them. But anyway, Vishal had a problem like that too, where he was going to give up on his fish because his fish tank crashed, and then this happened. He went to a tank and went to shop and he bought clarity, and then someone else told him to buy this, and they buy that and buy this, and he chucked all sorts of crap in his tanks, and had all his fish floating around gasping and doing all sorts of random crap.
Is that naivety on their behalf.
Definitely operator error. It's definitely operator error.
Uneducated knowledge, not doing your own research. Maybe we can just blame the hobbyist on all of this. It's not the people selling stuff, it's the hobbyist just doing it. Maybe it's their fault.
It's definitely the hobbyist's fault. Fuck hobbyists. They should all fuck off.
Yeah. Get rid of the hobby altogether.
Get rid of the hobbyists. We'll just go to the local. Oh, no, we won't do that. I won't say that. They're going to the local waterway, let all our fish go and let them go back to nature.
I think with a lot of it, and like maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but there's people, and I've seen, they rely on clarity, they rely on these products, and there's a lot of issues with fish tanks that if you actually just have the right filtration or the right processes in place, that you don't need those products. You shouldn't need clarity as an example. You shouldn't need to dose your tank with clarity every water change that you do.
I guess another one that I see a lot of problems with is algae fix. People go, I've got algae, and they apparently, I haven't used it, never used it, didn't see a point. But from what I've read, it's it's quite sensitive. Like, you've got to actually know your accurate sort of water volume, and most people don't know that, so they end up putting too much in. It doesn't kill the algae, but it kills all their fish.
But it says it on the bottle, so that surely has to come down to people not using it properly, not the product, but people not using it properly.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but also it's probably not needed either. Does it work? Have you used it before? Have you had much success with it? I have never used it, so I can't comment on whether it actually does anything.
I had
what the theory behind it working is.
Don't know if I've used it.
If you have an algae problem, don't you just clean your tank? Reduce your lighting? Shouldn't you?
Well, it depends on the algae.
You probably ignore it.
I just ride that shit out. It's a roller coaster, the algae roller coaster. I just ride the algae roller coaster, and within a year or two, it'll go away.
Totally depends on the algae that it is.
I guess if you were trying to do a really pristine planted tank and the algae was fucking all your plants up, you'd want to do something about it. But then I believe it's probably a nutrient and lighting issue rather than a chucking a band-aid on it issue. But
maybe just buy a bristle nose. They get rid of your algae.
Some algae, definitely.
They might cause
back to your clarity or pristine, whatever comment it was. Have you used them in a tank every water change and seen a difference?
No, I've used it.
So why are you shitting on it if you haven't actually tried it yourself and seen the results?
The theory behind them does work because they are flocculent, right? They make all the little shit stick together and gets caught in the filter.
Yeah. I've used it when I haven't washed my sand properly.
Looking at Ryan's tank behind it looks a little bit murky. If he was to use whatever product it is we're talking about, it might bring it up to that next level of clarity or sparkliness for him. But whether or not he wants that is a different argument.
Have you got some?
I think I've got pristine, yeah.
Maybe I'll do a product trial on it. The problem with that sort of stuff is I don't know necessarily how good it is for the fish. You know what I mean? I don't like sticking all sorts of random stuff in the tank that might cause more issues. They might make it clearer, but it's a little bit of a and if you go and stick this and that and this and that and this and mix everything together without understanding, you can have dramas.
But that's a user error. That's not a product error.
What about the Purigens and all that sort of stuff? I know that Cam up in Auckland really like those sorts of things. I've never really used them.
Purigen's brilliant.
The mechanical sort of.
If you'd watched one of my videos on YouTube, you would have seen the test that I'd done and seen that it worked incredibly well. But old mate there isn't a friend of mine. You're not a friend of mine.
That's not how the song goes.
I was trying to avoid the buzzing noise, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah. So again, a lot of these products are probably good, but the problem is that there's a lot of misunderstanding around them, I guess, is what the thing is. Okay, so we'll say there's misunderstanding.
Do you think? Like, I've always thought that. I've always thought that.
Myself in trouble.
XYZ brand says you have to use this with this with this with this to make it work, which I've always gone, well, that's just a money making on their behalf to use all of our suite of products. do you actually think if you use this and this and this and this in that range as per bottle, as per instructed, it will actually work properly? Because they've tested their products to work together, not with other people's products, and that's where shit goes wrong.
It doesn't actually say on the back of bottles, do not use this with this product.
That's a good point.
And that's the problem.
You can't put that down to user error.
We are doing some sort of chemistry experiment with our aquariums. So, and it's hard to know the interactions between these things. It's hard to know what they are. Half of them are not anything special. But yeah, pristine is the sludge-eating bacteria potion. Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's one that works on sludge, and there's one that works on waterborne stuff, and there's one that works on all sorts of other shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up a tank, and I'm going to use the entire suite of insert any brand you want here. And how do you do a test on that? Like, you'd have to do 2 identical tanks to see if they work or see if they don't work.
Well, you'd have to do 4.
I'm not committed to that. Why 4?
Because you need a control. You need two separate samples, and you need at least 2 separate controls.
Stop taking the idiots out of 3 idiots.
So, but anyway, and then the only way to test it is to put fish in there and kill them.
Or not kill them.
Probably not really ethical.
You could use your rummy nose tetras.
The ones that I've already got?
No, the ones that you have to use for the breeding challenge.
Oh, right. So there's no chance that I can win. I like your thinking. I'm going to fill up my Frontosa tank with all of these. Oh, no, it's too big. It'll cost like $1 million just to put the chemicals in it.
You don't want to kill your Frontosa either.
Don't. I'm still dark about my ones.
I'm doing it.
I spoke to Michael the other day too. He was pretty dark about the fact you killed his fish too. He wasn't very happy.
Oh, whoa. I didn't kill them. Point number 3 on my list, which is equipment failures, killed them.
Yeah, okay. I could get on that one. And the interesting thing is you had a heater failure which killed your fish, and now you're putting heaters into all your tanks in your fish room, even though you're space heating it. That's interesting.
You had solenoids to automatic water changes, and now you put dead fucking fish. And you just put solenoids back in.
Yeah. Better solenoids, maybe better solenoids. I don't really know.
Well,
I googled
these came from Bunnings instead of Temu.
Did you buy your solenoids off Temu? Did you buy them off Temu because you're a cheap ass?
I got them off Amazon. Probably off Temu. But yes, and I did Google what is the best solenoid brand, and of course all I got was marketing blogs, sponsored blogs, all that sort of stuff. The equipment failure sucks. There's no way around that. Sometimes you buy better equipment, it still fails. Sometimes you buy equipment like a heater that says that it's got a thermal cutoff and it still cooks your fish, and you're like, well, what the fucking use was that? Some cheap equipment's good. Some expensive equipment's good. Some cheap equipment's shit. Some expensive equipment's shit too.
Some expensive equipment other people can't lift, and then they give them shit because they can't lift it. And the reality is it's probably some of the best equipment around.
Yeah, most of us would probably agree on that. FX6s are great, as long as you're not trying to do bodybuilding with them, or you're a little Asian guy that lives on the North Shore,
I saw an interesting one the other day, and this person they have a 400-liter tank and they're running 2 FX6s.
Nice. That's good. Yeah. I saw an FX6 on like a 3-foot tank once, and it was just like a washing machine. It was on the floor of someone's house. It was...
Even on this 400-liter, they had the outlets facing each other from either end of the tank, so the water was meeting in the middle and doing like this.
And for the right sort of fish, it'll probably be really good. You wouldn't put angelfish or discus in there, but
neons.
Neons. Hey, there'd be a lot of fish from the Amazon that would love that, because when in the rainy season, when all that water goes pouring in, there's a bit of flow through there. So, yeah, I've got FX6 on a 350-liter tank. Actually, that's pretty good. But yeah, anyway, what other grinding out gears have we got?
I don't like it when people feed live feeder fish to fish that don't need it. I think that is fucking ridiculous.
To find fish that don't need it.
So there is absolutely fish that will only eat other fish and that they will not be able to get on prepared food ever. And I understand that. But there is fish that don't need feeder fish. Oscars, for example, don't need to be fed feeder fish to maintain a healthy life, as an example. But people tend to enjoy feeding their Oscars live fish. There's plenty of fish that can be used as an example.
What do they eat in the wild?
Snails, crustaceans, other bits and pieces.
I think that's the key thing that people need to ask or look at is what are they eating normally?
And I know it's a little bit hyper intuitive. That's not the right word. I know it's a little bit weird because fish food pellets are made of fish, but it's the actual act of feeding, the unnecessary feeding of that, particularly when it's more for the sport and the enjoyment of the owner of the fish. I'm enjoying watching this other fish get ripped to pieces and maimed by a fish that shouldn't or doesn't need to be eating it, as opposed to this actually needs to be produced or eating live food.
And personally, I'm not against feeder fish, but it's for the right fish. It's got to be for the right fish.
Give an example.
I don't think there's that many predatory-only fish in New Zealand, is there?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you could argue that your big dats and your Borneo tigers and your all that sort of stuff.
But you can train them onto pellets.
But wouldn't that be like if you were to gut load some feeder fish, wouldn't it be like a behavior, like a environmental enrichment type thing? You could argue.
But it's not. It's still not necessary. Necessary.
But what is necessary? We don't even need to keep these fish tanks in our house. You know, like, so what is necessary? How do you define that?
Yeah.
You know, so it is an interesting one. I'm not a fan of people putting live fish and watching them get torn apart. That's pretty rough. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, and again, like I understand some fish will need to be given live food. That's the only option. But at least if you're going to do it, make it the correct sizing as well. Like, so it's not got this other fish being ripped to pieces while it's still alive. Like, give it saying that one buff gone sort of scenario. But for the best part, the vast majority of fish don't need live feeder food.
And needs an interesting word as well, isn't it? How do you know what a fish needs? You don't ask it because sometimes
water.
They talk to me, but that's the end of a really big night, you know.
That's when that container's been unlocked in the freezer.
Yeah. We don't talk about the special container in the freezer. Anyway,
I've got another one.
Go.
What really grinds my gears is when you do a prank on somebody that you know and you get no recognition for it and they don't even acknowledge it. That's aimed directly at you, Ryan.
Is that when I got a phone call the other day from some clinic called me, actually on the weekend they called me. A doctor called me.
No, that was when I thought up a really creative name for your box of fish and you didn't even take a photo and laugh at it.
I've still got the box. I did read it and I was like, what the hell is that? I don't even know what it is, and they moved on.
Go get it. Go get the box and read it out loud. Do it right now. It's hilarious.
I'll put it on the group. It's actually outside in the garage, so I'm not going to go all the way to the garage right now because everything will disconnect and stuff. But I'll put it in the group later and we'll see if it's actually funny.
It's hilarious.
Okay. I didn't get it, but maybe I'm just stupid.
Of course you didn't.
I'm just stupid, but...
What happened on the weekend?
I'm also interested in this now too. A clinic called me, but I've forgotten what the clinic was.
Oh.
I was drunk. So
you're still getting Tom's referrals.
Yeah. Even though I've noticed he's not in the chat anymore, so he's just stitched me up and vanished, and no longer loyal to us.
It's a shame. So it was a doctor of some sort offering you services.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the name that I named you.
Okay.
I
What
found
did
it
you write?
hilarious.
What did you write?
All right, I'm going to read it out now, okay?
Okay.
All right. Your name was Lou Skunt. Oh, come on. You got it.
Tom's back. Tom's back. He all of a sudden. Oh, it's not me.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
It's not me.
His fucking ears are burning. Lou Skunk.
Lou Skunt. I was going to write a wee note on it that you needed to be rung before delivery just for fun. But I thought better of that. Just in case they delayed the delivery.
Bit like that time I sent that package to you. That was so funny. Little old lady gets, I've got a package for Shane Warner here, and the address is wrong. There's lots of artwork on it that's quite creative. Anyway. Cool. Any other grinding gears? Are we happy? We done?
It's probably gazillions.
I could go all day. But anyway, what have you got on your list, Matt?
What was that?
1 minute in heaven's better than no minutes in heaven. I always tell her.
He said he could go all day, and I said that's not what Kim said.
Just clicked.
I can go on all day. Anyway, I can definitely go on.
How much coffee have you had today, Matt? You're a bit slow at the moment. Obviously.
Not enough coffee.
Yeah. I woke up late.
Okay, so you got no more, Matt. You're happy. You're happy now. You got nothing else you need to get off your chest.
No, I'm good.
Tell you what grinds my gears is when I spend hours making aquariums and they turn into fucking sprinklers.
That is
a huge problem.
Start irrigating the bloody floor instead of holding the fish in the water. God, that's annoying.
I enjoy those ones.
You enjoy those ones. That's why you've got one in your house.
I don't have. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, that's in my garage, but yes, I do.
The funny thing is that you're going to get that aquarium sorted, and then you're going to have to move house, and it's probably going to leak again.
Don't be like that.
This is going to be so fucking awesome. I'm going to love it so much.
No.
It's going to be so fun for all of us. Someone also commented somewhere in the chat that they really enjoy that the shorts that you put up would take the piss out of me. So that's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I was asking before if people actually watch the shorts that we make, and someone said they particularly like the ones that take the piss out of you, which I think is good too. Which I've then followed up with, you dickheads need to send me more photos of you so I'm not recycling the same 2 photos over and over and over again. If you don't, I'm going to just start taking them off your Facebook pages. Yeah, exactly.
And you have to take that swag one of Matt posing like he's off on fucking one of those blind date TV shows off Google.
What was that? Oh,
Send that to me.
Everyone needs to go on Google and Google Matt Punnett. Michael or something, and see this picture of Matt like posing like he's on one of those Married at First Sight shows. He looks like
that is good. That is good.
It's so bad.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's on his LinkedIn.
I think it was actually a corporate event that I was at.
Yeah. On your LinkedIn page.
Definitely.
It was some corporate event that I went to.
Well, technically,
and
Stephen,
just because I'm a knob, I've just decided to link it into the chat.
Oh, fuck you.
Any pic, technically, Stephen, any pic with us in it is a dick pic because we're dicks. So, that's how it works.
I was pretty impressed at the...
You're an absolute degenerative.
Hey, at the end of the day, you've chosen to put that photo out there on the internet, and it's now public property. So you can't complain about it.
Well, just like you put your public information out, and now Tom's sending you shit every week. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm mighty impressed at the photo that you sent this morning, Ryan. That's definitely going to get some airtime.
Of me taking care of some business before the podcast. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be used over and over again. So I would appreciate it, gentlemen, if you could send me some photos, please, of your enjoyable mugs or in weird positions, so I can have just a little bit of fun with making them, because I'm sure the people enjoy it.
Otherwise, in February, we just have to get Matt so fucking shit-faced that we could take photos of him passed out drunk.
You don't have to try that hard. I don't need much encouragement.
And that's also
just keep handing me a beer and I'll keep drinking.
It's assuming that I'm going to be in any state to actually operate my phone as well. But anyway.
That's all right. I don't drink, so I can have some fun with it.
I thought you were going to get back on the cart just for one special event.
That's what you thought. I didn't say that.
Yeah, have this
looks like he's serving hors d'oeuvres at a swanky party.
Definitely looks like it. Yeah.
Brenton, do you want a mug or not?
Cool. All right. So we ground our gears enough now, or what?
Yep.
No, it grinds my gears when someone posts my public information into a live stream.
Well, it's already public in the public.
Well, it could have been your private part information. So at least it's public. At least it's public information. You know.
I reckon I might have enough connections to be able to get that information over your private parts too. Now, I've done some digging. I've done some stalking. I reckon I can get there.
I think that Vishal just won the internet. Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Delivering oil at Pity's party.
It actually looks like a stripper. And
yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, I was at a corporate event.
But
you were getting reamed,
you wore your police uniform when you were doing that sort of corporate event.
I'm not engaging anymore.
Yeah. What was that? What happened the last time you got engaged?
Pardon? No, actually, what did you say? Because I think that was quite good.
I said, you said you weren't engaging anymore, and I said, what happened the last time you got engaged?
A beaver and bear incident.
Do we want to pick next week's topic while we're here? Looks more like a fireman than a stripper.
Oh, okay. We did talk about that privately, I think, because I don't know what actually happened there. But it's right. I thought there was something that Nigel had provided that was going to be needed, but is that happening later? Going to be used or given away?
Oh yes, there will be a giveaway, but let's get the competition started first.
Okay, so that's associated with the competition. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Let's.
And we should probably do some criteria, and people need to vote on the criteria, and whoever gets the most points wins the competition.
That's a good point. We actually haven't worked out what anything more than the fish yet. Automation and fish rooms for next week's topic. We can do that. That'll be next week's topic. Automation and fish rooms. Easy. Good work, Stephen. Thank you. That's next week's topic.
Okay, cool.
Go for it.
But yeah, we need to figure out, maybe we can do that. People can talk about some criteria that we might have for our breeding competition. I think the first one will be keeping the fish alive for more than a month.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the first one to kill a fish?
That's like a deduction of points, not.
No. If people can guess that, they get points.
So how do we win? Earn the points, not us.
What's that?
How do we win? We
don't really win.
Is it like whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter?
It's kind of like that, and it's kind of also like, you won the breeding challenge. You've got some fish you didn't want, and now you've got more of them.
Are we going to regulate it where the three of us all have to feed the same food?
No.
And the same. Okay, sweet.
There's no rules bar that you have to use those fish.
So it's like Celebrity Cage Death Match. The rules are there are no rules.
Exactly.
So what constitutes winning? Like producing 10 fry? First person to make 10 baby fish?
Well, I think we need to put a timeline on it, and then we need to go like first person, but then also most in a spawn. or most.
Well, there would be a number of criteria. So the first person, like, to not kill them would be a start. First person to get them alive, and the first person to have eggs, and then the first person to actually have some fry, and then the end result will be the person who manages to produce the most fry in X period of time.
So how long are we going to do this for? Like, are we going to do it till Christmas?
There may be some people that don't actually produce, that they just kill the fish straight away.
Ryan.
Or that just take them straight to their mate's place who's got a big, massive display tank and needs more rummy noses and say they died. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically
speaking. Yeah.
So at this point, we don't know anything more other than rummy nose.
No, just to set up the criteria.
10.
Keep them alive.
10.
First person to get some eggs. First person to get
eggs,
fry.
Eggs are easy. Eggs aren't the hard part. It's getting fries the hard part.
Now, Brandon's just done the ultimate flex right there. Shit, not many people have done that. Brandon, you are a superhero. If you can breed bristle noses, mate, you're my hero. They're fucking tricky.
There goes my hero.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm in a real stingy mood today.
All right, cool. Well, that's sorted next week's episode, and we've just sorted all the criteria for the breeding competition too. So what else do we need to sort? Done.
I don't know. What was the criteria? First person not to kill them. Producing X and over X amount of time.
No, eggs. Producing eggs.
Yeah.
Producing fry.
Yeah. How many fry?
Producing just a fry, a single fry.
Well, that's
the
fucking
first person to get a fry, and then the person that can produce the most.
It's us that we're talking about.
This is true. This is true. So not killing them, getting an egg, getting a fry, getting the most fry in X amount of time. Do we have a time limit on this?
Well, it's October, so we're probably looking something like that would need 3 or 4 months, probably, wouldn't it? To see what we're even at.
Okay. So use all the
second products.
Okay. All right.
It sounds like Visual's putting up a sponsorship for the podcast. He's buying some shares in Seachem.
All right.
I did that because I've already won. What did I win?
69 points.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go.
Okay.
Talk to you guys later. Like and subscribe. Keep up the great listener mail. We're loving the listener mail. It's so good to have you guys.
Are we prepared to drop that segment yet?
Yes.
Yep. We just live vote on here. Ryan, we're going to keep it. Or we're getting rid of it.
Well, I mean, I voted anyway, so it's done. Even though
if people want to message us, they can. But
so we're dropping that segment.
I think we just read it out if we've got something. If we don't actually go through the process of not having listener mail.
Okay. That works.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right then.
So you can still send us mail, and push that button, bitch.
What's the email address for people to send the mail to?
Podcast3idiots@gmail.com.
Correct. All right then. All right, I'll push the button now. Have a good one, team.
All right. Bye.
Bye.